On ASTV Sports Show in Canada Inns, Transcona, the Tavern United off Region Plus. He's joining me now. The gentleman looks much more dapper than I do on this Monday evening. Marc Beghin. Thanks for joining us, Marc. Let's talk some lacrosse. How are you today?
Fantastic. It's great to be here.
Fabulous. And I'm glad we were able to catch up finally because, you know, May is a bit of a hectic month because you have to get all the training and all the teams together. Now, correct me if I'm right, the tryouts ended in May, correct?
No, for Team Manitoba, we're currently just finishing up. I picked my team just recently. Pee-wee and Midget are just finishing up this week, and we're going to start our training heavily into the remainder of this month and into July.
Okay, so we have three teams, the Pee-wee, the Bantams, the Midgets.
Yes.
All heading to Nationals.
Absolutely. That's all indoor box lacrosse.
Right.
We also have U18 and U15 field lacrosse also heading out to Kelowna at a different date too.
Okay, so should we talk box or field first?
Let's talk box.
Let's talk box, because I like the box game a little bit more contained and a smaller field, correct?
That's right. Can't run out of bounds.
Can't run out of bounds. Is 5 players aside?
5 players aside plus a goalie.
So is it like hockey? Or is
In fact, during the 1930s, the idea was to find some cross-training for hockey players. And what ended up happening is they created box lacrosse. So if you really dig deep into the archives, you'll find teams such as the Toronto Maple Leafs box lacrosse team.
Really?
Yeah, so that's where the history comes from for our sport, the indoor sport.
Right.
Yeah.
And the field lacrosse has a longer history.
Yeah.
Because that's been around from the days of, original heritage and settlers from back even before that. Because I think there's been pictures you can find downtown at the museum that show games of lacrosse being played on massive, massive prairie lands.
Absolutely, yeah, and that was to resolve disputes and so on and so forth, and it's evolved significantly since then. It's not played on a mile-long stretch. It's on similar to a soccer-sized football field, and the rules are significantly more tame than they were 300 years ago.
A little more modernized.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so we have the box teams heading to Coquitlam, BC.
Yep.
You're coaching one of those, correct?
Yeah, I'm coaching the Bantam age group, so that's 13, 14-year-olds.
How many players on each team?
Each roster will hold 18 runners, as we call them, and 2 goalies, so 20 players.
20 players. That's quite a large squad, considering there's only 5. Does it work as lines?
Yeah, absolutely.
3?
That's a good question, right? So box lacrosse, everyone plays. You rotate your lines similar to hockey. And then with ideally 5 aside, and you have 3 spares, right, or 5 in a line, right? Okay. That's how it tends to go. It's a fast-paced game. It tends to be physical at times. Yes. It's high speed and skills, so having those extra players on the bench really makes sense for us. But yeah, that's the flow, and it's a constant flow of players in play, and that's how it goes.
So I remember watching a little bit of box lacrosse, playing more field lacrosse when I was younger. How many players have
Really?
to stay?
Who'd you play for?
Well, I didn't play here in Winnipeg. Long story short, I actually coached and I was a trainer down in Newport Beach, California for a Quicksilver team.
Wow.
Team Quicksilver. And there was about 4 players from Johns Hopkins, 6 from Duke, and a couple guys from Marymount and Lowell Marymount as well. Wow. So it was a group of great individuals who were playing in a club team, and we were all sponsored by Quicksilver. I still have the shorts to these days. But I digress. Back to this sport, back here in Winnipeg. Because field lacrosse and box lacrosse have different rules. Box lacrosse has to have how many players behind center that can't cross, or how many players can enter the offensive zone?
No,
that changed.
That's the difference between field and box. Box is very similar to basketball. So our face-offs are similar to a tip-off, where you can be on both sides. Right. And as well as the gameplay. So the actual gameplay in the offensive zone and defensive zone is very similar to basketball. So there's pick, rolls, lots of movement, lots of action. There's a 30-second shot clock. Yep. Field is the one where, yes, you can only have 6 players on one side of the field, and you have to check up and make sure someone stays on that side. Yeah.
Right. Okay, so that's where I was getting those rules mixed up. Thank you for realizing that. We also can tell a defensive player is got a longer stick. Usually in field,
as
opposed to a scoring player on field. They usually have a shorter stick, a little more dangles, a little quicker with the whip, if you know what I mean.
Absolutely, yeah. Cradling is stick handling, essentially, in lacrosse. So the smaller stick are for field lacrosse would be called attackmen and midfielders. And then defensemen are big sticks, and they have longer sticks. In box lacrosse, everyone has the same stick.
So you said the field teams are heading to Kelowna, BC as well?
Yes.
The national teams?
Yeah.
The Manitoba team, sorry.
Yep.
The Pee-wee, the midget, and the Bantams. Now, can players play on both teams, or they play on separate teams?
Oh, yeah. They can play on the same teams, and there's quite a bit, especially Manitoba, quite a bit of crossover that we have. It's called interdisciplinary, so there are 2 different disciplines of lacrosse.
Of course. Okay, so when did the field players go to Kelowna?
I believe that's September, the end of August to September 1st in Kelowna.
Okay, and the Coquitlam one, BC, is early or mid-August, I believe, right?
Yep.
August 20th, 24th?
August, yeah, that's when our gameplay is.
That's when your gameplay is. Okay,
Yep.
so
we head down just a little bit earlier.
So leading into that, what do these players do? They play on the Manitoba teams? Do they have club teams? And what's going on with league play throughout the summer?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a local league here called the Red River Lacrosse Association, and redriverlacrosseassociation.com is where you'll find us on social media as well too, right. Instagram, Facebook. It's geographically split up in zones. So out of the west we have the Shamrocks, that's St. James, Charleswood, River Heights sort of area. Okay. Out of the north is the Falcons. That's everything from North Portage all the way up. And then a little bit of west side of outside the city as well to West St. Paul. And then you have on the east side of the city, where we are here right now, is the Griffins. And then the south side of the city is Shamrocks. We also have another club, Saugeen First Nations. The Ojibwe Nationals also play with us. They're from Saugeen. They drive in, very dedicated, and really enhance the sport with us also. And we're slowly working on hopefully moving things outside the city. We also have another little club. They call it Triple S, which is essentially out of Garson. So that's the Selkirk area and all that type out around Garson is their home rink.
So for players or for young individuals who are getting into the sport, the great thing about lacrosse is it's not very expensive to get into. It's, considering hockey as being like the upper echelon of expense, lacrosse being one of those multidisciplinary sports that works with the hand-eye coordination and the effects just like a lot of these other sports like baseball and football and hockey.
Absolutely.
It's not expensive. And it now can be played year-round here in Manitoba. There are indoor facilities, correct? Yep,
absolutely. We're working hard to make sure that we have programs. In fact, this past winter, the Manitoba Lacrosse Association ran a high-performance program. We did half box lacrosse, half field lacrosse. The field lacrosse component, we're on various soccer pitches that we have here in the indoor facilities. But that went all throughout the winter, too, elevating our game and elevating our players to be competitive at the national level and beyond.
What's the hardest thing for a young player to learn how to do? Is it the cradling? Is it the throwing? The accurate
It's going to be the throwing.
Yeah,
especially, and that's what I noticed as a head coach, is that a lot of our players are hockey players. In fact, we just did a recent survey for the Red River Lacrosse Association that 77% of our players play hockey.
Wow.
That's remarkable, right? Great cross-training for the sport, fantastic. And you don't get the burnout after specialization, right? But it's the stick handling. What happens is a lot of the times the arms are tighter to the body. And in lacrosse, it's different. They're a little bit more mobile. Right. And that's the biggest hurdle to overcome.
Absolutely. I think when I used to watch a lot when I was younger, you'd think you'd have the ball in your cage, and then it'd be gone because you bubbled it out or it'd fall out. You don't remember where it is, and you kind of lose sight of the ball, sort of thing. And I remember playing goal once in a while. That ball hurts.
Oh yeah.
That padding is definitely needed when it comes to the box game, especially.
Absolutely. We and that's the thing is
that would probably be the most expensive position, right? Or is it a club thing?
Yeah. Well, the most expensive position, of course, is always a goalie. Of course. Figure that out, right?
Yeah.
But box lacrosse does have a lot more equipment. There's a lot more pushing, and that's part of the game. So we have arm guards that come down underneath. That is a lot, not like a hockey elbow pad. It's much more durable. Okay. Kidney protector as well, too. Shoulder pads that are designed differently to protect the chest and sternum, as well as be able to lift your arms so you can shoot, right? Other than that, from the waist down, it's basically your regular protection down and waist down, shorts and shoes. So if you get it in the thighs, it hurts, but hopefully we're not hitting our other players, right?
It's about sportsmanship here, and always about sportsmanship, but also about competitive nature because, hey, I mean, you guys have to go and challenge other provinces. You got to gotta show Manitoba proud here. And I want to say congratulations to those players that have been selected and will be selected and upcoming here in recent weeks. And congratulations and good luck this summer.
Absolutely.
Look forward to hearing how the teams do in August, and we'll see what happens here in middle August, right?
Absolutely.
Marc Beghin from the Bantam team here. What is your team called? What are the Manitoba teams called?
Team Manitoba Lacrosse.
Just Team Manitoba
Team
Lacrosse.
Manitoba.
We didn't touch on the founders real quick.
Oh, yeah,
Let's talk about the Blizzard real quick and the founders.
Yeah, Blizzards are junior. It's a Junior B traveling team that plays in Saskatchewan, and the host league is out of Alberta. And coming up this August is the Founders Cup, which is the Junior B National Championship, which is hosted here. It's going to be at Maple Sportsplex. Junior B for us is high level, and we've worked really, really hard to get that team there. They've traveled quite a bit, and needless to say, August 12th to the 18th, Maples, and see some fantastic lacrosse. Founders is special because we're bringing in teams from all over Canada, and then some including out east and out west. So you see different types of lacrosse and it's high level.
And that will be on ASTV August 12th through the 18th. The Blizzard, they were champions 2016, 2017 back-to-back, were they not?
Absolutely, they were, and it came close a couple other years.
I know, so we're looking forward to seeing some high-end talent, high-speed balls, lots of balls, and lots of great contact in and around the Maple Sportsplex mid-August. Marc, glad to see you laugh, and thanks very much for joining us. We'll be right back to wrap up this sports show.